JSE ending the day in positive territory. We had a negative start to the trading day. It all had to do with Asia feeding through bad news from the US overnight. It all had to do with new home sales, GDP in the US, though, surprising to the upside, 3.5% for the third quarter.
Yes, it all helped the market in the last sort of afternoon trading session, certainly. And despite the dollar remaining reasonably steady, we saw our shares picking up quite smartly again, especially Billiton's, Anglos, those sort of things.
Just taking a look at some of the big stories out today, we had MTN giving out subscriber numbers. Many would say quite disappointing. Subscriber numbers up 5% all round. Yes,
I think they are quite disappointing. I suppose one's got to look at the economic growth in the world at the moment and say, well, maybe that's quite in line, but I think nonetheless we would have liked to have seen a bit more from them. And I think there are some question marks about how MTN are going to go forward, what kind of deals are they looking at further out there, Barty again, would they be revisiting that? But I think in the longer term it still is a share that I would buy on the weakness.
Well, down 1.3% for the day, and we also know interconnect fees are set to be slashed. And one company that is meant to benefit is, of course, Telkom, and they are under the spotlight by the Competition Commission. They face between £3.5 billion fines to £4 billion fines, and they're saying now that they're going to oppose these fines. I
think yes, and it's also debatable as to what fraction of the turnover it will be. Some are saying it will be up to 10%, could be less than that, and. Nonetheless, I think, yes, they've got to work through this, and I'm sure that many people out there are saying it's about time. Possibly Telkom will still be able to produce reasonable earnings, but we've got it as a neutral hold at the moment.
BHP Billiton gained over 2% today, and they did announce that they aren't really looking for acquisitions in the small company space, but rather joint ventures, iron ore joint ventures with Rio Tinto.
What I can remember of Billiton saying that they can't see any good one-tier companies out there that they would like to acquire. So yes, they are hard pressed to find things. And I think also the Chinese are also after some very good companies out there as well. So there's intense competition for any of those good companies that would be out there.
Gold quarterlies, we had Goldfields coming out with numbers today. We know the rand obviously impacts these gold companies, and we've had a very strong resilient rand at around 720, 730. It has weakened over the last couple of days. We also have Harmony and Anglo Gold set to release those quarterly numbers tomorrow.
I'm sure we're still going to see disappointing quarters, unfortunately, yes. And with the advent of maybe higher electricity tariffs as well, that's also going to impact on gold quarterlies going forward as well.
Well, just taking a look at other companies that have done quite well today. Anglo American, a gain of almost 6%. Implats, a gain of almost 4%. And it's been quite a big focus on the resource space. It has to do with dollar movements as well, hasn't it?
I think it is. And I think it's still the whole sort of talk about the economic recovery. Where is it going to happen? Will the commodities still benefit from it? And I'm sure that's why all the money is going into these areas.
Just very quickly, Pick n Pay down, actually the bottom of the top 40, down almost 3%. And we know there has been a lot of exchange with words with the likes of ShopRite about market share.
Yes. I think Pick n Pay are hard, they are trying their level best to gain that market share. And I'm sure that they will win it back in some form or other, possibly more on their core supermarkets in the townships and so on. That looks like their growth area to me, and I think that you shouldn't write off Pick n Pay right now.